Hey guys, day 2 of Boston is complete, and I did a lot of things today. First I went to B&G's Oysters. B&G Oysters for their oysters. As you know, I had 2 of Island Creek oysters from Massachusetts. I had 2 of the Wallis Bay oysters from Nova Scotia, and I had the Hama oysters from Washington, and you can see from the picture. Now the one I liked is actually the 2 that are on in front, the 2 in front, because it goes from Island Creek from the right, the Wallis Bay from the center, and to the left is the Hama, and I have to say that the Wallis Bay is nice and delicate. Has a pretty mild flavor, but pretty good, you know. So I had those oysters, as well as the famous lobster roll that was listed as #1 from B&G, and I had to say that, as you can see from the picture, it's pretty small. The lobster roll is probably like a hot dog bun. I mean, yes, there are big chunks of like lobster, especially lobster claws and like the tail inside the lobster roll. It's not mayo inducing, like where you can really taste the mayo. It was just creamy, and it was very light on that mayo, and so it was nicely done. The bun that it was held in, it was nice and toasted on, like oven toasted, so that was kind of nice. The fries, a little bit on the salty side. I think the chef was a little heavy-handed with the salt, but it was still good. It was, you know, one of those really good, almost like a double fried French fry. And then the coleslaw was not extremely creamy, so it was kind of like nice and light. And the pickles have a mild sourness to it, so it's not like you know, like one of those plastic pickles where you're just like really sour. So it's pretty good. For the price, though, definitely would rather go to Neptune Oyster Bar instead. So I don't know. I'm disagreeing with the Serious Eats blog, and I have to say their #2 is my #1. Okay, after that I met up with my friend CJ again, and we hit a couple things. First, she took me to a place called Flower, and had sticky buns. And these sticky buns, her mom, when she visits her in Boston, she would always bring them home with her. And so I wanted to know what the hype was, and as you can see from the picture, it has a really, there's not that kind of like white frosting that you typically see on like a cinnamon bun or a sticky bun. It's kind of like the flavor is that of the corn syrup used in pecan pies. So that was what the kind of frosting was on top, and then then it had a couple of, like, it looks like pecans, like pecan chunks on top, and the sweetness is not extremely sweet. It's actually pretty mild on the sweetness factor, and I guess that's the reason why they're good. I mean, a lot of like sticky buns and like cinnamon rolls have the extreme sweetness, but this one really has a mild one, and it's kind of bad, because if you don't know, you might be eating like 2 or 3 or 4 and not feel that sugar rush come in. And after that, we decided to hit up the farmers market. So what we did is we hit up the farmers market that was near the Trinity Church in Boston, and we had a couple of tarts. Now, unfortunately, I don't have pictures of that. You know, caught up in the moment, we just didn't have time for that. So afterwards, we walked to Boston Common, which is their big park, as you can see from a couple of the pictures. and we went all the way up Boston Common to Beacon Hill, at least the beginnings of Beacon Hill, and went to the original Cheers bar. And I actually had a beer there, so it's kind of nice. I mean, I wasn't really planning on going to the Cheers bar, but, you know, a nice day in Boston like that, nice sunny day, warm, you know, walking along, might as well just grab a beer while we're there. So that was nice. I actually went back with CJ but we split it from there, and I had the fried seafood at the Morse Fish place. I believe it's called Morse. So we'll see how this fish and chips are from Morse Fish Company. Again, listed on Serious Eats as a place to go in Boston for good seafood. So. And I had their Haddock fish and chips. Haddock is a fish, so it's a fish and chips, but the fish is haddock. And I have to say that the haddock was really nicely fried. It wasn't overly fried, so you don't taste that greasiness. It was like a clean fry, and the fish was very flaky on the inside. As you can see from the picture. They also had a package of fries in my to-go box, and the fries were, they were all right. I mean, I think they just kind of fried they just fried the potatoes in the same oil that they used to cook the fish, so you can see that, you can taste sort of that kind of flavor on the fries. So fries, not much to be a fan of, but I definitely did like their the fry on the nice little golden crispy outside of the haddock, and it was very nice and flaky on the inside. Well done by that guy who cooked it, so that's awesome.